Am I the a-hole for throwing my sister and her son out of my house? I, 35 male, am a single father of 3 boys, 10 male, 7 male and 3 male. Their mother died last year due to ovarian cancer. It has been a rough year to say the least. My sister got divorced 6 months ago and temporarily moved in with me and the boys. She has a son, my nephew, 9 male, who stays with us most of the time. My nephew and my 10 years old are not the best of friends, but so far they got along fine apart from some teasing from both sides. A few weeks ago my 10-year-old started telling me that his cousin was bullying him and being mean to him. He called him names, pushed him around, took his video games etc. I talked to my sister many times and told her to talk to her son. We talked to the boys together and things settled down. Yesterday was my 3-year-old's birthday, so my whole family was here and my late wife's family as well. It was extremely emotional for everyone, because it was the first birthday since my wife's been gone. The boys, 10 years old and 9 years old, started fighting again and I asked them both to calm down and behave. My son started crying and told me his cousin teased him about him not having a mom. I choked up and asked my nephew if that was true, and he said yes, but that he's sorry. I figured I'd have a proper talk with him and my sister after the party, so I just told him what he said was really awful and he cannot say it again. I comforted my son and we went back to the party. Before we cut the cake, my sister came yelling at me, saying I had no business disciplining her child. I told her to drop it and we'll talk later. Instead she said besides, he's right, kids need a mom. I had tears in my eyes by that time and she just said see, it's even turning you into a pussy. My in-laws were crying, I was tearing up, the kids were upset, just awful. I told her to stop it and just leave me and the kids and the family to cut the cake and we will talk in the evening. She said listen, we both lost our spouses, but at least I'm still a normal person. She stormed off. After the party I told her she has 2 days to pack her shit and leave. She is begging me not to throw her out, because she and her kid will be homeless. Am I the a-hole for throwing her out? Not the a-hole. Your wife died. That's significantly different from being divorced. Good job protecting your children from her poisonous attitude. And crying due to grief is hardly being a pussy, so good on you for showing your boys that. Not the a-hole, but be careful on any kind of DIY eviction. 2 days is normally illegal. Check your local laws. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my wife and asking her for 5 freaking minutes before she gave me the baby when I got home from work? My wife and I have a 9-month-old baby girl. Her and my wife are so very important to me and I don't want anyone to doubt that. I'm an ER nurse. I love my job and right now my wife doesn't have a job and is focusing on motherhood. I am in full support of this and know that what she is doing is very difficult and taxing, but I think my job is sometimes a little more than that. I have really bad days. Like I see the worst things a person could possibly see, and it used to not bother me but since my daughter was born it's so much worse. Especially when it's a younger woman or little girl. I however don't let this affect my work and I don't let my wife in on these things. She's a little fragile when it comes to things like these to the point where she can't even watch horror movies. Recently we had a car crash victim. She was about 8 years old and riding around on a bike. The driver fled the scene and she was in bad state. Like I could see organs. I knew we were likely gonna lose her and we did. Like I said, after we did our job the best we could I moved on. Got lunch, did whatever I needed to do. Usually when I get home I take the baby. But I was just too distracted today. I wanted to help my wife but I just needed some time. I don't know why, but I couldn't handle my wife's requests for help. When I asked her for a minute, she told me that she's been on her feet all day and needed a break. We had a small argument as I was trying to avoid telling her what I saw, and eventually I just snapped. I raised my voice and told her that, can I just get 5 freaking minutes to myself before you jump on me? She of course was mad and it started a much bigger argument as she now is convinced I don't value what she does. No holes here, but you two need to communicate better. Tell her when you need comfort. When you have a really bad day, try texting her when you're leaving and let her know that a little girl died today and you had a horrible day, that when you get home you just need her to hug you for a few minutes. Ask her for comfort before you get there, and I think that will make a big difference. Soft, you're the a-hole, it would probably be more effective to just share your feelings and experiences before exploding with profanities at her. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my coworker and bringing up the state of her marriage? I, 28 female, have been in this job for 5 years. I have also been married to my husband, 30 male, for the same duration. Except for the year we were working from home, my husband, who is a florist, has been sending me a small bouquets of flowers every Monday. Think 3 roses, a small bunch of baby breath. Just small arrangements. I have a small vase on my desk where I put them. This year a new woman joined our workplace. The first Monday she was here, when I received my bouquet she asked if it was a special day. Another coworker said that it was a weekly gift from my husband. She made a face and changed the subject. But she started making comments every single Monday, when the receptionist brings my gift in. Small things like, Well, we can't all afford to waste our money on stuff like that, or don't you think that's a bit tacky? I never reacted to her jabs. I am a pro at selective hearing. This last Monday she went over the line in my opinion. She said, "I think your hubby is overcompensating. Are you sure he doesn't have a mistress?" I was pissed, and I said, "Well, some of us love our spouses and like to show it. Not all of us are staying in a toxic relationship for the sake of keeping appearances." Which was a low blow, since I knew that she was having trouble with her husband. She started sobbing and left work early. And while every single person in the office says that I was in the right, that I was more patient than they would have been in my situation, I can't help but feel like I went too far. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She sounded jealous, then just mean. She got what she deserves. Everyone sucks here. Goodness gracious, is addressing and responding maturely to things a lost art? Obviously the coworker was in the wrong for her catty comments, but you never said anything to her. You just let it build up, then went nuclear. Yes, she sucks more, but your hands aren't clean. Am I the a-hole for screaming at my parents in front of everyone outside the restaurant for hiding my son from me? Back in 2020 I, 23 male, found out my GF Lucy, 23 female, had our son John, 4 male, but also learned the huge betrayal my parents did to me. What happened is in our senior year of HS her mom passed away. She didn't have other family in the US, the only other family she had was her dad in Mexico. We wanted to move in together but neither of us had the money to support ourselves. And my parents didn't want her staying with us even if she got a job to help out, so she went with her dad. They messed with our communication though, because when she reached out to say she's pregnant right after she left, my parents sent her a message pretending to be me saying I wasn't going to be involved, so don't bother me again. To me, when she never contacted me again, I thought she ghosted me, which hurt. That shit was pretty devastating for me to find out. Lucy came back to my life with my son to confront me for abandoning them. I was crying so much after learning the whole truth. That same day I had nothing to do with them because they were dead to me. My mom thought they did right because I would have ruined my life for her and our kid. It disgusted me. Since it's been 2 years my parents have had a change of heart. Every so often they try to have my sister bring gifts to my son, that's from them. It started happening even more after my uncle passed away last year. They tried talking to me at the funeral but I ignored them. Now they say it helped them realize family is important, so they want to meet John. We went to the mall for a family portrait on Saturday, then my sister met with us to eat across the street. My sister starts freaking out, then she shows me a text from my parents. They were asking her if she's coming over, then she said after meeting with me because we came to eat at. All of a sudden they were like, "Oh, we'll join you guys." Like if nothing they did ever happened. She texted them not to come but they caught us when we were already leaving. I told my GF to take John to the car and right there outside I let them have it. When they were trying to say sorry to me I yelled at them that they stole my son from me and made my girlfriend a single mom for 2 years. In front of all these people. And I know too that the yelling was super loud because even my voice was cracking. They didn't say shit after that, but my mom was for sure crying and my sister was right there. My sister tells me maybe I should apologize for that because they were humiliated being yelled at in front of a bunch of strangers. My mom even told her sister yesterday that they were very wrong for what they did, but the way I screamed at them was an extreme reaction since they were trying to talk in a calm voice. That is the first time I've ever yelled at them like that too. It hard not to see past being angry at them. And for this kind of thing it was hard not to lose it. Regardless, does that make me in a hole? Not the a-hole. They totally could have ruined any relationship you have with your child. If your GF didn't come back to confront you, you'd have never known. Not the a-hole. There is no excuse for their actions and that's a lot to process all at once. However, life is long. You have a son and a lovely girlfriend. Parents make mistakes. Sometimes big ones. This is a huge mistake, literally huge. I'm not sure what would have to happen for forgiveness to be considered, but being a parent, having fricked up in the past, understanding where I was wrong and trying to make it right, I do hope that someday forgiveness is possible. It's too soon now, I think. You sound like a super stand-up guy. A great father. Am I the a-hole for saying I should have been asked before my son got a massive tattoo? My son is 8 and thinks tattoos are cool, just like dinosaurs or UFOs or pirates. His mom decided to do something outrageous by letting get a fake sleeve tattoo of dinosaurs, UFOs and pirates. I found out after his teacher sent us an email about it. He thought it was too distracting. I had not seen my son since Friday. We share him every week, so this was strange. I went to his school and surprised him. He was wearing a sweater and pulled it back to see his arm. I asked him if had any other tattoos and he said yes on his side. I lifted up his shirt and the sleeve runs to his side. His teacher was there and I said it looked absolutely trashy and agreed with him. My son's mom said she couldn't believe we were making a big deal out of what was equivalent to markers and reminded us that she does not have tattoos but we do. I told her she should have ran this by me first. I would have told her to tone it down. When I gave him a bath, I tried washing it off abs, it wouldn't come off. This isn't the cheap cereal box tattoo stuff. You're the a-hole. Way to break the kid's spirit. Fake tattoos aren't hurting anybody and the kid is happy. Why ruin that? You're the a-hole. A fake tattoo is just a bit of innocent fun. If it were me, I probably would have waited until the weekend or school holidays before putting something like that on my kid, but that's just because I don't want to cause any issues with school. If it's a little tattoo that can be easily hidden, then it's not a problem. My son has gone to school with a little rub-on tattoo that he could hide under a sleeve. And yes, rubbing alcohol will take it off. Not the a-hole. People out here acting like your son got a lick and stick tattoo from a cereal box and not a full sleeve like what you said in your original post, even if it is temporary. And on top of that trying to pretend like your issue is with your son and not your ex. Am I the a-hole for saying sorry my husband loves me? Weird title, but hear me out. I, 32 female, am currently pregnant with my first child, 15 weeks along. Also not located in the US. When my husband, 35 male, found out we were pregnant, he took it upon himself to drive me to and from work every day, and help me take things into my workplace every morning and carry them back out at the end of the day. I didn't ask him to do this for me, and have insisted on doing things myself because I can, but I also think it's sweet he wants to take care of me like that. I am capable of driving and carrying things just fine. However, he really wants to do this for me, so hey, not complaining. I'm not saying anyone should expect their spouse to bend over backwards like this during their pregnancy. However, since my husband has volunteered to do this, I am not going to say no to being pampered either. I am not the first person in my department to be pregnant or have kids, but I am the youngest. My colleagues seeing this every day have made comments, but nothing rude. They just commented on what my husband does for me, which again is really incredibly sweet of him. However, their comments are becoming incredibly repetitive and annoying to hear as it feels as though they're blaming me. One of the coworkers, A, 36 female, is a mom and went through a difficult pregnancy while working, while another coworker, B, 35 female, is happily child-free. Both have been making comments daily about how I should stand up to my husband and take control of doing things myself. A keeps recounting her own pregnancy and how her husband never did these things for her, whilst B thinks I'm going against feminism. She said that she brought this situation up to her husband and his response was, if you're expecting me to treat you like that, don't get pregnant. Which is pretty appalling in my opinion. B has even drunk called me on a weekend to inform me that I am going against the core values of feminism, which rubbed me the wrong way because it makes no sense. Yesterday, A and B were at it again with their comments, and I finally snapped back saying sorry it bothers you guys that much that my husband loves me. They both didn't take it well as they became quiet, and have been very distant since. I did apologize for snapping, but nothing's changed. I do feel bad. Am I the a-hole? If anybody is drunk calling you on a weekend, that's going way too far. They could probably be fired for that. Maybe your husband is more feminist than she is. Not the a-hole. Everyone sucks here. You implying that their spouses don't love them just because it looks different than how your husband shows it isn't a whole thing to say. That being said, they 100% instigated it, egged you on, and deserve the comment due to being a-holes first. So yeah, it was an a-hole move, but they weren't responding to anything gentler, so it was necessary. Am I the a-hole for asking why a man wanted the seat next to me, instead of other empty seats? I, 20s female, am in the train to head to the airport for work. It's early morning. I am juggling a suitcase, laptop bag, handbag, breakfast and coffee, and find a window seat on the train in the middle of a cabin, put all my stuff and coat on the seat, floor next to me and start having breakfast. Train is not empty, but certainly not busy. All the rows have one person sitting in it, generally on the window seat, while 80% of the L seats are free. About a minute before departure a man comes in, walks through the cabin and stops in front of me, asking to sit down. I look confused but start moving things to free up space, sitting on top of my coat, knees almost in my ears to be able to squeeze my suitcase under my feet, put away the breakfast I won't be able to have and have my 2 bags on my lap. Train has departed already, and the man is still standing there, instead of sitting down in the empty seat behind him. When he finally sits down next to me, I ask him, why this seat? The rest was empty and would have been easier and faster for both of us. He then goes on a rant that people should not be occupying seats for stuff instead of people, and gets enraged when I say I agree if the train is busy, but in this case it's nearly empty. It was an awkward rest of the trip, where I was very tempted to spill my coffee on him, but now I wonder if I was in a hole for my reaction. Am I? Not the a-hole. If there's plenty of open seats, it's fine to use the extra seats for your stuff. Chances are he either just wanted to start shit or to hit on you or something. Surprised to see all the not the a-holes. Seems like you have a lot going on with all the stuff and breakfast. If every row has at least one other person there, you have to expect the possibility of someone needing that seat and therefore shouldn't have occupied it with your stuff and put the responsibility on everyone else to leave their adjacent seat available. Seems like you just want to sit alone, Which is understandable. But you bear some responsibility to leave that empty seat available. You're the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for refusing to allow my brother-in-law or his kids into my house? Background: younger sister, 28 female, married 2 years ago. Her husband, 35 male, was a widower with kids, 11 male, and 10 female. His first wife died 5 years ago, I believe. Brother-in-law and his kids were nowhere near ready for him to remarry. His family seemed to have pushed the issue and he found my sister. She was all in, fell madly in love with him and the kids, but has never returned it. They are so damn disrespectful to my sister. They constantly remind her she's not the first wife. He will actively say things in front of everyone about how much he misses his true wife and how you only have one real love in life and losing that is the worst thing ever. My sister has confided in me that she often feels like she made a mistake, but she's not ready to admit it. She leans on me and I try to help her. The kids have told my sister she will never be as special as their mom. That their mom was the best and my sister is poop. My sister's birthday was in November and we had a small family celebration. Right in the middle of it, the kids protested their need to attend and asked why they would celebrate her when she's not important to them. Brother-in-law said nothing. I told them it wasn't a kind thing to say. They laughed at the idea of being kind to my sister. They also said they didn't care what I thought because I wasn't there anything. Then later, as we all ate cake, he talked about his late wife's 28th birthday and how he had spent weeks planning a party for her because she's had a rough year. And then he and the kids started planning a week-long celebration for what would have been his late wife's 35th birthday later this year. I've had enough. My sister isn't ready to do anything. But I have been clear I will not allow them to come into my house and disrespect my sister and shit all over her. Brother-in-law has tried to come with my sister a few times, him and the kids, and I have been firm in my stance. I also refuse to host any family dinners because I do not want them in my home. Brother-in-law is pissed. My sister said my house is a nice break from them. He said the kids are kids and we're all family. I told him he and his kids don't appear to think so. And they're certainly not treating any of us like we're family. The rest of my family thinks I've maybe stepped too far since he is my sister's husband. Am I the a-hole? This is the only thing that matters. Everyone else's opinion is just noise. Not the a-hole. The biggest a-hole here is your sister. She isn't a hole to herself. Seriously, how low is her self-esteem to tolerate that shit? There is a saying, we deserve what we tolerate, and if your sister seems fine being tolerated like that, then why would the husband and kids change? They get the motherly and wifely duties from her without doing anything on their part. Like that is a good deal for them. I'm not victim blaming, but that is just how the world runs. We teach people how to treat us.